Welcome back to Everyday AI Made Simple. Grab your drink of choice and let's dive into today's topic. If you're trying to keep up with the world of AI, you know the feeling, right? It seems like every single month there's a new model that's supposed to change everything. And picking the right tool for the job can honestly feel like you're just throwing a dart at a board. But what if you had a map, a real strategy to guide you? Well, that's what we're going to build today. Yeah, if that quote hits home for you, you are definitely not alone. The constant flood of new models, new names, new features, it's exhausting. But today, we're going to cut right through all of that noise. We're not here to just list off a bunch of benchmarks. We are giving you an actual playbook. So, here's our roadmap. We'll start with why it's so overwhelming, then we'll meet the key players in the game, and then, the best part, we'll build that playbook that takes you from total confusion to complete clarity. Okay, so let's just dive right into the problem itself. The AI world right now, it's kind of like a big, messy alphabet soup of names and numbers and companies all screaming that they're the best. You hear all these names thrown around, right? And you see these incredible performance scores, but what does that actually mean when you need to summarize a 100-page report for your client or you need to debug a tricky bit of code? That's the exact gap we're here to close. Think of this as your practical guide to picking the right tool for your specific job. So let's start where most people's journey begins, with the generalist giants. These are the two absolute titans of the industry, the big ecosystems that are in a constant battle for the throne. And first up, of course, is the name that's basically become synonymous with AI itself, ChatGPT. It is still, without a doubt, the state-of-the-art generalist model. It sets the pace everyone else has to follow. And the huge shift that really defined 2025 is that the foundational model is now GPT-5, and that's for all users, even if you're on the free plan. Now here's where it gets really interesting, how OpenAI separates the free from the paid users. See, everyone gets access to that core GPT-5 intelligence, but if you pay, you unlock something they call GPT-5 thinking. This lets you literally tell the AI to take more time, to think longer and harder about a complex problem. It essentially checks its own work, which dramatically cuts down on mistakes. Think of it like asking your smartest coworker to just double-check your work before you send it off to your boss. You're not just buying speed, you are buying reliability. You're buying back your own time. And that brings us to the other giant in the room, Google Gemini. Now, while ChatGPT is this incredibly powerful standalone thing, Gemini's whole strategy is completely different. It's all about deep, seamless integration into that huge Google ecosystem that, let's be honest, you're probably already using every single day. And Gemini comes to the fight with a true superpower, a massive 1 million token context window. Now, to put that into perspective for you, that's like feeding it several large books or hundreds of documents all in a single go. And it's truly multimodal, which is a fancy way of saying you can ask it to analyze not just text and images, but you can literally upload a video clip and ask it to summarize the key moments. It's wild. And this right here perfectly lays out the fundamental difference in how these two companies operate. OpenAI's strategy is what you could call pay for power. The very best stuff, like that super important GPT-5 thinking, is locked behind a subscription. Google, on the other hand, their strategy is free for scale. They give consumers an incredible amount of power for free because they want to drive mass adoption, and then they plan to make their money later from big businesses and developers. Okay, so let's shift gears a bit. We're going to move away from the do-it-all generalists and into the world of the specialized experts. Now, these tools aren't trying to be everything to everyone. Nope. They are laser-focused on professional-grade work where things like accuracy and reliability are completely non-negotiable. So let me introduce you to Claude and Perplexity. Claude, from a company called Anthropic, has earned this reputation for being the most articulate, most coherent model out there. It is a true champion when it comes to digesting and analyzing just massive documents. And then you have Perplexity AI, which it's not even really a model company. It's an answer engine, and it was built from the ground up to solve the single biggest problem in AI: trust. Now, what's so fascinating about Claude is the framework it's built on, something called constitutional AI. So instead of just training it on all the messy data from the internet, Anthropic uses a set of principles, like a constitution, to guide how it responds. And the result is a model that's incredibly reliable and way less likely to say something weird or harmful. That means when you ask it to draft a really sensitive email to your board, you can actually trust it to keep the tone professional and appropriate. It's exactly why it's a favorite for any kind of formal communication. All right, so we've met the giants and the professional experts. Now it's time to go to the edges of the AI map, where we find the innovators, the players who are offering something radically different, either through sheer force of personality or by being radically open. On one side, you've got Grok from XAI. It's defined by two things. It has real-time access to social media data, so it knows what's happening right now, and it has this witty, unfiltered personality. Then, on the complete opposite end of the spectrum, you have Llama from Meta. Its entire edge is built on absolute privacy and control because it's open source. Anyone can download it and run it on their own computer. And I love this analogy because it just nails the core difference. When you use a closed model like ChatGPT, you're sending your sensitive data to someone else's servers, to their cloud kitchen. But when you use Llama, you download the entire kitchen and you run it in your own secured basement. For anyone in fields like law or finance or medicine, that level of control over your data isn't just nice to have, it's absolutely essential. So we've met all the players, and it's crystal clear that this is no longer a one-size-fits-all world. So that leads us to the most critical question. When do you use which tool? This is it. This is a strategic map we promised you. It's time to build the playbook. Okay, let's get practical. Let's run through some real-world scenarios. Say you need to do a deep analysis of a dense 150-page document. You call in Claude 4, hands down. Need to track the sentiment of breaking news as it happens? That is a job for Grok with its live social media feed. What if you need to fact-check a claim and you absolutely need to see the sources? That's what Perplexity AI was born to do. Building a custom chatbot using sensitive private company data, Llama is your only real choice for total privacy. For really complex coding and debugging, both Claude and ChatGPT Plus are absolute powerhouses. Analyzing a chart or a video clip, Gemini's native ability to see and hear gives it the edge. And finally, if you're drafting a formal, nuanced report for the C-suite, Claude's reliability makes it the perfect consultant for the job. So after laying all of this out, it really leads to a new way of thinking about our relationship with this technology. The game has totally changed. It's not about finding that one perfect AI to do everything anymore. It's about building your team. And this is the big question I want to leave you with. Your role is shifting. You're not just a user of a single tool anymore. You are now the manager of a specialized team of AI assistants. You're the one who decides whether to call in the deep reading expert like Claude, or the fact-checker like Perplexity, or the up-to-the-minute social analyst like Grok. The real power, the true competitive advantage, is no longer just in having access to the single smartest model. It's in your ability to orchestrate, to bring in the right specialist for the right job at the right time. It's time to stop guessing and start managing your AI team. That's a wrap, folks. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Everyday AI Made Simple. If you want more of this type of content, hit subscribe and hit that bell so you'll be notified when I post new content. And if you're interested in getting my free AI prompts or free GPTs, think of them as personal mini agents to use in ChatGPT. You can grab them at everydayaimadesimple.ai. The link is below in the description. Thanks for watching.